It has been a few weeks, but now it's time to go through the brand new Duel Links BANLIST live reaction for both Speed Duel and for Rush Duel. Hopefully some big changes to the format are needed. Stardust of course being tier 0, but not really. In representation maybe, but overall gameplay, no. But we'll see what happens in that one. Of course, there also is the Duelist Road event for Reigns, which we were looking forward to. I think everyone's looking forward to because the last 5 years, whenever we've got a Duelist Road event, we've got a level cap increase for that world. And this year, we've not got that. We were supposed to get this event on usual schedule back in December. So we've waited 7 more months to not get what we all kind of hoped and wanted and assumed was coming based on the last 5 years. So that immediately is really disappointing. Now, we're getting a new skill for Playmaker, we're getting a Varus ult style, which is fine, not my favourite artwork of him. Right, I like the new Season 2 one, rather than this one, but it feels a bit weird because we're seeing so many different levels of ult styles, right? You look at things like Taya, who had no voice lines, and one new ult and arc card at a gate drop. Varus seemingly is not going to have any new voice lines, which is really weird, given that there's plenty more rocket support he could gain voice lines for that were released after his debut in Duel Links. But no, they've not done that, whereas Jack and Yusei got new voice lines. So, and new animations, and they're not treated equally. And given that they are taking up slots where characters usually would be in a month, it does feel really, really bad overall. But that's beside the point. That's my big negative. Hopefully, fingers crossed, today's ban list is going to be an absolute banger. Goes to effect on the 1st, which is interesting because that either means well maintenance or it's going to affect with PvP, the new season, probably more likely. Let's go through the skills first of all. We've got Therian Battle Royale. Okay, I've no Dragon, that's the damage skill. Galaxy Eyes, and then a bunch of Rush skills. Okay, let's see what's changed. First of all, for Therion, they are getting a lock to only cards, which is Therians. This is what should have happened at the start before. Just straight up, right? And also, turn it onwards rather than opponent controlling a card. This just systematically proves Konami can design the skill properly, rather than giving us what we got. Now, the good thing is they've removed the ability to play Lava Golems, Kaijus, that's also really good. However, they've lost the X-Deck, and I feel like they could have the X-Deck but not have the Kaijus and still be perfectly, viable and be fine and be how people expect them to be when they first came out, not how they were and how they performed after their first wave of hits. So, a good, if not late change to this deck. Very nice to see. Then we've got the DM skill, which is the Timaeus one, which does change. Ooh, that's really, really cool. So no longer if you've got to have a Dark Dragon on the field, it can just be Dark Magician or any card called Dark Magician, which, yeah, that's a very solid change. We've then got Baron Balmorph Galaxy Eyes as a big, big paragraph. What's changed? You're getting Tachyon Transmigration into your deck. So that is, again, what people kind of thought should happen, right? But the way people thought was, oh, we'll ban Tachyon Transmigration and put it in the skill, and things will be fine. Or we ban Draglucion and put that in the skill, and things will be fine. So now you can run a card that's sharing a slot with Transmigration, which, that's pretty good. They've seemingly gone a bit back on Tachyon and thought, you know what, we can bring it in some regulated form and still be fairly doable, so you know what, I'm a big fan of that one. That's a cool change. Dueling is Ramen, so Rush Duel now. What do we got? We've got the Flavor Shift, that's the name change one. It's no longer once per duel. Okay, good change. Is it enough? Not too sure, because it still has the Fusion Summon once per turn restriction, so that's not great. Darkness Returns is the Dragon skill that gives you more targets. I believe there was one target you couldn't actually play that was mentioned in one of the other cards. One of those cards used one of those cards, and so now you can play it. I believe that's the intended goal here, so that's perfectly fine, but this deck wasn't really doing much anyway, so it's fine. Hard Rock Overture is interesting because they already got, a balance adjustment. So what's changed here? It is now not once per duel to adding a card back from your graveyard. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be pretty good for Rebels. Okay, overall, I think these are some really solid skill changes. I don't think there's anyone here that I don't like, right? The Theron one is a bit too late, right? But still, it's a good skill change. So knowing that, let's go into the ban list. First of all, we've got Destiny Hero Dominance being banned. Not the card I expected going in, at all. This is, this of course can draw you into multiple cards, right? And we've seen Destiny Heroes be able to set up some really nasty combos because this card, it is a free card. It does make sense to kind of get rid of, so didn't expect it, but sure, it's happened, and that's pretty good. Titanica says it can enable a dueling combo on turn 1 for effect damage. You can special spot between 2 tokens, and you can target monsters to defense on your field, and then burn for a quarter. I don't know of any FTKs who are playing this card, but maybe there's something they found that maybe there's one coming that they want to get rid of, right? Like, who knows? Spriggan's Blast. This also was a bit of a menace in the KC Cup, the World Champion qualifiers, being played and branded, being able to zone lock. Yeah, this should never have really made it Duel Links, especially when you've got, an effect that says you can choose 2 zones of the field and lock them down. Yeah, that's just like not very fun gameplay. It is a floodgate. So, yep, that's a deserved ban. Necromain King, also a deserved ban. Okay, they're kind of 3 for 4 here. This one, again, makes no sense, but this one, of course, does make a ton of sense. Anti-Aircraft Flower. God, this was in, I want to say Invasion of Chaos or Dark Crisis back in TCG back in 2004, I think. It's a very old school card. This was doing nothing, but it's a burn card, so maybe they found another combo that can burn. It is a non-once per turn tribute, so maybe there is something there, but who knows? Who knows? Sync Realm. Each time Synchro Summon, deal 250. We really are just banning every burn card, aren't we? Literally anything that could, in theory, when the stars align, deal a FTK we are going for, and yeah, this would take like an age to do, right? Like, unless you were looping cards back from your graveyard to your extra deck and then bring them back out. Okay, a classic 5D Stardic 2008 card. It's been a while. Flame Spirit Ignis as well, again, you trip on fire on the field to inflict 100 damage for each fire in your graveyard. That one, at least, like, you can see where things will be going, right? You got the Volcanic Scatter Shots, right? Go to your graveyard, they burn. This can, go on top of that as well. So you can see the line in a way, but still, it is just, like, following on from this. Okay, so, like, 3 deserved hits, and then the rest of them are all, like, random burn things that maybe could matter, but surely we could do things like, stopping burn damage on turn 1. That would just be, way more viable. Now, of course, it doesn't affect trap cards, so that's still something they've got to kind of get around, but we'll see. We'll see. Limited to 1 Crimson Dragon. Okay, so this is designed to remove Necro Valley from the deck, I believe, because of course they hit Necro Valley and FD to 1, and with the skill, you can play FD, search Necro Valley, so it made the whole nerfing of that completely pointless, which is baffling, but sure, this is fine, like perfectly good swap around, we'll take it, right? Mask of Restrict going to 1 as well, only for 1 copy. This is also a Floodgate, so Floodgate's inherently bad. I guess in theory you were using this as a counter to Kaiju's 2 Lava Golems, right? And so if they're not hitting Lava Golem at all, then hitting the counter feels like, or they don't G, where they banned Cool Buy, rather than hitting Max C. I like, I don't like Floodgates being around. This one, in theory, could have been a necessary evil, but it's good it's gone. Hopefully we see Lava Golems, please. Rainbow Life as well, being limited to 1, because it can guarantee the player going first survives, and then when they go second, they don't die, right? So, a long time coming, maybe? Like, this has been, I want to say on the ban list, like, before, at some point down in Duel Links history. It's been a very long history. Maybe it's limit 2. Going to limit 1. See, now you can't play as many, and of course you can't play a bunch of other things. Sure, why not? Red Eyes Burn. Again, a card only available 1 copy. But limiting 1 this? Is Dragoon at limit 1? Dragoon's limit 1. So, you can't play this and Dragoon, which was that a thing people were doing? Like, maybe it means we're going to be getting another Red Ice card that burns, and they don't want you to play that and that at some point down the line. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Silver Rocket Dragon being preemptively limited is interesting, right? I think at the moment you only play one of them anyway, so unless there's more cards being limit 1 alongside the new box that's releasing, then this won't really make much of a difference, but I guess they don't like the extra grip. That's all I can kind of think about this now. Blasting the Root. This was what? Dark Crisis? Or was it Pharaoh Servant maybe? Back in the day. You've got to be playing a skill to pull this off, right? Like, this is not really resolving in Duel Links outside of some really gimmicky OTKs, right? Like, sure. It just feels a bit weird. Tether's like at least one that I think we're seeing play right there, and I believe we're playing this as well. So, yeah, 1 to limit 1 is fine. This, I believe, was a video game promo back in the day as well. I want to say Nightmare Troubadour on the DS, but I might be completely wrong. It might be a different one, but I think it was a DS game. Or a PSP one. It was one of those two. Hallowed Life Barrier as well, going to 1. They are really just like... They're not liking the turn 1 player being able to survive the turn. Like, guarantee a free turn, like a turn skip in theory. They don't like burn cards, and seemingly, they don't like hand rips with Trident. Now, that's all this card's being used for. Dragoonity weren't really doing anything. If down the line we get more support, then they can put him in the skill, and things will be hunky-dory, all fine, right? That'll be good. This was being played in Stardust, I believe, so limit 1 alongside the Negro Valley, alongside the Crimson Dragon. This is perfectly fine. Explode a Rocket Dragon as well, deals burn damage, is now limit 1 alongside this, and I believe in Rocket you were playing 1-on-1. So you've now got to choose this or this, and then of course take into account potentially all the new things coming in a brand new box coming soon. Given Varus is available now as an alt style, we assume we're getting a Vrains themed mini box or something. That would just make a ton of sense. Is that it? No, Rose Whip. Being hit in every format. Of course, we haven't got Cool Tune, we've got Stardust, and yeah, fine. Just fine. What the fuck is Curse Bill? Equip a spell card. When it's sent to graveyard, you deal burn damage for half the monster attack. Right, so the idea is you summon a big body. It's original defense. Wait, it's original defense. Like, why does this matter? Right, why? Okay. Limit 1 section was a whole mixed bag. This was a good hit. This one's fine. This, in theory, is fine. This one remains to be seen. The rest of them, and again, this one's fine as well. And this one, like, yeah, there's some fine hits here. Limit 2. Predaplant and Drosophilium Hydra. Okay. I don't know what's limit 2 of Predaplant. So I assume it was limit 1 before, now it's going to 2. That probably makes sense. And then Predaprime Fusion as well. Predaprime Fusion, also going to 2. So, if these were both at 1, or one of them was at 1, then you've now got Super Poly back in the deck. Do we like that? Okay, it remains to be seen how that's going to kind of pan out. But I was not a huge fan of Face of Predaplant, so we'll have to wait and see. Then on to Limit 3s. Okay, the big slot, the big kahunas. What do we got? Tuning. This is a Limit 3. Eclipse. Eclipse is the big one at Limit 3. Obviously, you've also got Nibiru, that kind of thing. But probably Eclipse is the one here, so you can't play your tunings and your Eclipse and Stardust. That's perfectly fine. Demon of Harmonica. So this, I believe, got like 4th in the Watch Match qualifiers. Also was playing Book of Eclipse. So now you can't play Book of Eclipse in a deck that no one really thought about pre-Watch Match qualifiers, but did really well in that event. Whether it's like top tier Broken on Ladder is another story, because the Road to Worlds qualifiers are like, that's its own mini meta game because of how the format's designed, of how you intend to play it. So okay, like, just glad it wasn't, Engine. That's like the best positive there. It wasn't Engine. No long on this. It's a big balance for a big Road to Worlds event. We've got Droll and Lock. I just completely closed out the ban list. We'll scroll back down. We'll try and find again, not spoil ourselves. What have we got? We've got Droll and Lockbird going to Unlimited from 3. This is such an unfun card that it just shuts down so many decks, right? Like, why are we bringing this back? Not a good fan, not a good fan, not a big fan of that one. That's a real baffling change. Abyss was limit 1, so I guess because of the Crimson Dragon going to limit 1, you've now put this limit 1 to go alongside it. Or no, unlimited to kind of swap them around. So now RDA can still play the deck as it was, which, yep, that's perfectly doable. Buster Drake, ABC hasn't really done a whole lot this World Qualifiers, right? I don't think it's doing like that crazy. So this is probably okay to come back now and be, I believe it was hit on the last BANLIST as well. So it was hit, then did nothing, and then, yeah, okay, sure. Nibiru, the primal being, they really are just like removing a bunch of limit 3s and putting them all unlimited. Not a fun card to face. I don't think it's as big of a deal as Droll is, right, in terms of annoyance, because again, you have plenty of ways to play around this. But like, I guess before you kind of knew that your opponent was going to be on it because of the limit 3 pool. Now you don't know if they're going to be on it. They could be on the 1 copy, they could be on 3. You have no idea. So now you've got to kind of contend with that being in the format and play around it and something gets beforehand. So yeah, I think Nib being around is fine. This one sucks though. Tragic Garden, yeah, they've kind of fallen off. Valence, well, these two again are fine because of course we saw the skill nerf for Therion. This made no sense before anyways. But I don't like it when other decks die for the sake of, you know, a unrelated deck. I feel the same way for Raid Raptors as well. Of course, those have a bit more burn issues, right? But I feel the same way about them as I do Valence, right? I think that, especially in an anime game, right? Raid Raptors are an anime deck type. You should be trying to make sure those are playable and not, you know, feeding into some FTKs or whatever. Okay. Speed side overall, pretty good. Pretty good. Stardust, obviously, like, right now is still going to be, like, the frontline deck. That's, like, abundantly clear. Even with, like, the removal of, say, your, whatever the limit 3 was called, Book of Eclipse, right? And removing, like, some of the hand ripping stuff, it still can put up some disgusting boards. And so, yeah, it's still going to be the post child of this format. Now, Rush Duel, Limit 1, Miracle Fusion, and Card Trooper. Oh, so Hero now, Limit 1 immediately, right, means that you lose that Pot of Greed. And Card Trooper was being played in so many decks. Oh my god, I just remembered. One of the negatives for this update, they've changed the fucking card font for Rush Duel cards. Look up here, right, you can't really see it, but they've changed it again. It's like the 5th time since 2023 they've changed the font. And it's now awful. Again. The last one was okay. This one, I don't know why they're doing it. They're just like, the new intern's like, you know what, I don't like the font, we're going to change it. I don't get it. Did the font licensing expire? Like, is that what it was? Given it's the same font they use for the actual IRL cards, I'm not sure. Why? I don't get it. These are big though. This is like really big because Hero, of course, was playing Miracle Fusion, Pot of Greed, Card Trooper. Now you're probably going to just be playing Miracle Fusion, so legend-wise, now you're going to maybe Warrior Turning Alive as a legend spell. You are now reducing the amount of draw power the deck has, which is really, really big, right? Because obviously before we had Pot of Greed into whatever the Hero Draw 3 one is called. I can't remember it. Think of it now, right now. And that was awful. And then, of course, they made it even more with Card Trooper and the fact we had the Heliosphere, which made that draw spell even better. So now they've kind of reined it back in again, and I think that's okay. Void Velcrisior going from 3 to 1. This was one of the most annoying cards to face. Whether it was in Recon Contact or whether it was in the Void Velg TFing builds, this was a not fun card when your opponent just like drop this down and kills you because they milled some really bullshit stuff. So yeah, I'm perfectly happy with this going to limit 1. That's perfectly fine. Vic Viper Beginning was already at 2, now going to 1. So again, they lose the Card Trooper, they lose the Pot of Greed. So yeah, that's a pretty big hit for Gradius as well. You know, Hero and Gradius, and these three were like by far the best decks of the GRF. So it is nice seeing some hits to them, right? Rather than like leaving them to just go scot-free and just carry on. This is nice. Void Velk Beyond Probe as well, going to limit 1. Okay. So you are really saying you can either play this build, like the explosive, I'm going to kill you in 1 turn build, or well, even that, like it's a 1. Or you play the fusion stuff and you have a bit of utility in back removal. I feel like you play this one over this, and you just like cut this entirely. Surely, right, surely. Limit 2, what do we got? 1,000 Knives. So this was limit 1, meaning you had Pot of Greed, right? So if you play in that deck, you always play Pot of Greed. You weren't playing this over Pot of Greed, you were playing Pot of Greed. So now you can play Pot of Greed, you can play 2 of this. This is interesting because that skill is so awkward to play at the moment. They're adding in cards that don't really do much of anything by itself. Might not be amazing, but giving that deck more utility for removal is really big because they can struggle without seeing like a big maximum, and this would get around that. So very, very good change. We'll see about cogging with this or doing something with this at some point down the line. Shilber and Kong, of course, being played in the joint deck now available at limit 2. I'm not sure on what limits are on that deck, so this is probably fine. Rush Duel as well, going limit 2. So clearly it's fine, but not fine enough, right? Like, clearly you can't have your piercing equipped spell or your face down monster popping. Clearly not. Ooh, Unlim, 7's Wonder Fusion. I don't remember that was at before. I want to say it was at 3. Right, so this doesn't... you can now play Shiny Shady. Right, Shady is limit 3. So that's probably okay. Action Melody as well. Oh. Okay. So Music Princess has the Fusion Spell 3. They've got the normal Chubadish at 2, and this now limited. Okay. That's a really big buff because this was actually sharing a slot with her before. So you can only play 1 and 1. Okay. Okay, you've now got 1 more fusion in your arsenal. You've now got... Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, that's probably a fine change. Might be a bit scary, but I think that like we've kind of moved on quite a bit from this being as broken as it was. So we'll see, we'll see. Vocalized Phoenix as well, going to limited. That could be really funky, right? Because one of the cards for this, right, is an Aqua Fire, right? And we've got the Aqua Draw spell at 3, so you could now, in theory, play that with this and deep draw even more. Okay, that's pretty cool. And Extra Spice, going from 3 to unlimited. Yeah, this deck has done nothing, you know, in a while, in like 2 years or something. So this is perfectly fine, and it does make sense, right, for whenever we do get the rerun of Euro and Sabaramen, right, or do we have that? No, we haven't yet, have we? God, the events are just, like, all blended together. Yeah, this makes sense to potentially bring more support out, right, alongside them. So, yeah, overall, I think I'm happy with the ban list on both formats. I don't think there's too much that I'm not that crazy about. Droll is a bit of a weird one, and again, like, there's got to be a better way of doing all of the floodgatey life point gain, life point burn cards, right? There's got to be a better way than just having, like, the ban list be 10,000 pages long of every burn card that could potentially, under the, you know, when the stars align, do a big FTK. There's got to be a better way. I thought I'd be more negative about this, but, like, I like the rush changes. I like majority of the speed ones. Predator Plant stuff, like, could be a bit funky with Super Poly being in play now, I believe. But we'll have to wait and see. And again, there's probably going to be a brand new box coming, alongside, of course, the Alt Star for Evolver. So probably more Rocket support coming is like the least surprising thing. Maybe more Playmaker support, more Cyber support would be cool. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's my thoughts about the ban list. Thanks for watching. Adios.